Hello there, this is Jay. Welcome to my channel. Today I thought I'd go over my top 10 list of advice for vlogging while on trail. So let's get to it. Before I begin, check this out. It's a little dog. It's a hot water bottle. Germans love hot water bottles, like in old TV shows from the 50s and stuff. Isn't that funny? Anyway. Earlier today, I was looking around for new vloggers for PCT, CDT, or AT for 2020, and there aren't too many new ones yet. There are several out there, but they're just kind of making announcement videos, some gear videos. And I thought I'd give my advice on those vloggers based on my preferences when I watch a vlogger, as well as things I learned on trail. Most of the vloggers that have made some AT videos are doing just fine, but maybe I can help out. We'll see. The number one biggest thing for vloggers, and I have to admit, I was guilty of it as well. In my first maybe 3 PCT videos, I had a lot of wind noise, and I attempted to try to reduce it by, while video editing, I reduced the audio at the peaks where the wind hit. Funny enough, I actually did bring little microphone protectors for the camera with me. And I bought it a long time ago. I just didn't have time to put it on my camera because I wasn't sure exactly how to do it. And at Warner Springs, I put it on, and since then, the audio was much, much better. And that would be my first suggestion, a windscreen of some type for your microphone. Most people vlog with phones, that's fine. But the onboard camera is it just picks up wind way too easily. A lot of people use their headset as well, and that seems to do a much, much better job. I think people don't want that wire hanging as well, but it does also pick up some wind, but it's so much better than just a phone. If you use a camera of any other type with the built-in audio, I highly recommend getting a little fuzzy sticker thing you could put over the microphone just to cut that wind, because even in videos not related to hiking or camping, people emphasize audio is super important, because when people can't hear you, but you're just standing there and have this camera on your face, people tune out. So before you get going, try to get your microphone a little windproof as possible and test it out before you go on trail. I know some people have bought the Little Road microphones that just kind of plug into at least the lightning port on the iPhone. They don't have one for the Androids and other devices, but that would be great. She even did, Vanessa Dodd, put a link here. She even did a little test with that cat over the microphone and one without, and there was a significant difference in the wind. So good for her. Other options to try, lately I've been doing it in my videos, is a lavalier mic like I have here, and with the fuzzy, and just kind of run it to camera. It's kind of annoying having a cord running everywhere, but if you just kind of clip it onto your backpack somewhere, I figure it won't be as bad, but it cuts the wind so much better that it's well worth it. And especially if you're going to hit crowds, a lav mic picks up local sounds, whereas a shotgun mic picks up directional, but a lot of omnidirectional sound as well. So you get a lot of other noises. So lav mic is good, it's just an annoying cable. My second bit of advice is, this is something most vloggers aren't doing anymore, thank goodness, but do not record in vertical mode. I'll show you what I look like here. And if you're watching from a TV, or if you're holding your phone sideways, there's nothing, it's just blackness here. It's horrible. So always record in widescreen. You may appreciate having vertical, because if you post a video that's edited in vertical and you edit it and produce it in vertical mode and you post it, YouTube will present it that way and it'll look better on the phone. But anybody that's watching it anywhere else, on a computer or a smart TV or anything like that, they're just gonna have those big borders on the sides, and it's not worth it. You will also appreciate it because you may think it's okay in the beginning, but when you want to further your YouTube career or hobby, it's harder to use that vertical footage in future videos as, say, B-roll or reference to it. So I highly recommend go widescreen and stick with it. Number 4 is plan how to handle all your data. On my PCT through hike, I use a Sony RX100 IV, and I recorded in 1080p, 30 frames per second, and I had maybe 550 gigs between photos and video. To some it may not seem a lot, but it was quite a bit of data. And I had several SD cards, and I had to shuffle a lot of data around. Of course, most phones aren't going to have nearly that much storage. If you do, you have a really expensive phone. So you need to be able to figure out how you're going to handle data. If you're going to upload it to a cloud somewhere that can actually take in that much data. And you have to also think about how much bandwidth you're going to use to upload all that data. And when you vlog, there's a lot of rough video that you may not need, especially before or after. And that gets uploaded as well to the cloud, unless you take all that data and you just edit it and then save the edited down portion. I will say I recommend keeping everything, just because you may edit down things into a video, but you may not have included some things that were interesting but didn't apply to the video, or didn't necessarily want to show on a family channel. But it's good to have all the raw data because you can use it later. And it's raw quality as well, not edited down for YouTube, which most apps will take it down to a lower bit rate, which lowers the quality. And you don't necessarily want that as your archived footage. Now with 550 gigs, I had a lot of SD cards, but I also had 2 USB drives with me. I had a little Transcend micro USB adapter that hooked into my Android phone, and I could actually plug in an SD card, a USB drive, micro SD card, and transfer data around. The hard part was, before I started transferring data, I had to make sure the phone was fully charged, because once it's plugged in, there's no way to charge. I did think about bringing a wireless charger with me, but I couldn't justify that weight. But that was how I moved things around. So the USB drives, I had 512 gigs or 500 gigs of usable data, and I managed to fill up one, mostly fill up another, and my phone actually has 200 gigs of onboard storage with the micro SD card in there. So that's one thing why I like the Samsungs, is you could just get a normal phone and then stick a 200 gig micro SD card there, and you have all this working area to handle. Now, whatever you do, it's up to you, but definitely try to have a plan on what you'll be doing with all your data, whether you're going to save it, get rid of it, or find out how you're going to save it. All right. Number 4, I see this going on with a lot of YouTube channels, especially in the beginning, is they get music from various sources, but the music's volume is way too loud. Like, I will show you some pictures of the music I used. If I load it up in my editor, you can see in the audio levels, it is significantly higher than my audio track. So if someone's listening to you talking and then you suddenly go to music, it's gonna just blast your ears. And I've done in the past is I have to lower the volume real quickly to adjust for that loud music. But when the music ends and they start talking, I can't hear them, so I have to raise the volume back up. And that's super annoying. And the last thing you want to do is make it annoying for a viewer. You want to make it an easy, pleasant experience for them. So try to keep all the volume levels steady. If you don't know how far to lower the music, it's actually not a bad thing to lower it lower than your voice, because you could still hear it and it still creates the ambiance of what they're seeing. It just won't blow their speakers or their eardrums. So definitely lower that music volume, and you'll know when you're editing. Play through the cut between where they're talking and the music, and just kind of gauge if they're okay. If it's too loud and you have to lower the volume, all the viewers as well. So looking at that, I found almost 95% of all the music tracks I've used, the volume is way too loud, so I always have to lower them. And a lot of songs will start quiet and they get loud in the middle. So don't just assume the song's level is normal. Check the whole thing and reduce it. I guess you could reduce the loud parts lower, but I usually just reduce everything down to a satisfactory level. Number 5. This is a little more complex, I guess, if you really get into the editing. I always like to edit everything. Sometimes the video would be 20 minutes, sometimes it'd be almost 50 minutes. But after I thought I was done, I'd go back to the beginning and just watch the whole thing over again. And if it's 50 minutes, it's another hour of your time. But at least by doing that, you double check everything. You make sure if you meant to put in a little notation, it's there. If you put in music, did you lower the volume enough? If there's gaps or there's no audio, or if there's videos and you forgot to cut the end or the beginning where you were swinging your camera up, things like that. That's just me though, but you may not. It's up to you. But I like to watch everything again. If you don't have the time to watch everything again, just watch the cuts. Most of the stuff in the middle will be fine, unless you're stumbling or you did a retake on some speaking bits. But I said bits, speaking bits. But if you watch it just before the cuts and a couple seconds to the next cut, you can usually see any mistakes that you meant to fix. And that helped me solve some time, especially when a lot of videos are 40 minutes or longer and you want to get some sleep. It's difficult to do. Number 6. Several years ago, I was watching someone vlog the AT, but he literally had a selfie stick and pointed it at himself in every shot, every frame he was in it. If he wanted to show you something, he would turn and it'd be back there. My advice, like, I am not the best vlogger out there by far, and I'm guilty of it as well, but I feel you need to mix up selfie, scenery, trail, as well as photos. A lot of people seem to want to see the trail, but when it's just the trail too much, then it doesn't seem like it's you doing it. So you want to personalize it by putting yourself in it as well, either with the tripod walking thing or holding it in front, behind you. You want to get your face in a good percentage of the video, not a lot, maybe 20, 40, 50%. Of course, if you are better looking, you want to put yourself in more often. But I usually stick to pretty low. But I need to work on putting myself in more, and I need to do more tripod walk-bys and things like that. So I know I need to work on it as well, but definitely mix it up. Don't do all trail, because then people forget what you look like. And don't do all selfies, because people want to see some of the trail and just not look at you all the time. Especially if you're just holding it arm length and you just kind of get your face in the majority of the frame and you can't see the background. It's not as interesting. So mix it up. Number 7, this happens all the time. I've done it sometimes. I'm getting better. But when you're holding the phone, do not look at the screen. Look at the camera. Even people who've been vlogging their second through hike, I've seen them do it all the time where they're just looking at the screen. And it's a little thing, but it's kind of distracting a little when you're looking at, I think when you look at the camera, you look at the viewers and viewers see you looking at them, and it creates a connection a little better. And having you look off to the side all the time as you're talking, it's I don't know, it's just not the same, especially when it's in a thumbnail and you're always looking to the side and everyone knows what you're looking at. So it really helps. Just look at the camera, find out where the camera is and look at it. Sneak peek every once in a while to the side to make sure you're in frame, but look at that camera. The other thing to do is, if you can do it, use your peripheral vision to try to see where you are in the frame, but it's not too bad. Although I will say every once in a while you should look at it, just make sure you're in focus. Although the newer cameras do a pretty good job of keeping track of your face. So, but yeah, look at the camera. Number 8, I would say if you're using an app that puts a water screen or a watermark at the corner like here, well, mine's gone, buy the app. Practice using it, see what features it has and see whether you like it or not, but then purchase it so that watermark is gone. It's a pretty minor thing, but if you want to vlog and you want to get everything out there, it's nice not to have other brands on your videos, especially if you're planning on doing it long term or doing it every day. My cell phone, I forgot to take out the vibrate. But yeah, purchase the app. I purchased Cyberlink Power Director. It was, I think it was just under $7, and that removed the watermark. I know a lot of people use KineMaster, and that's a monthly subscription. So maybe people don't want to start the subscription until they start the AT videos or PCT or any Thru Hike videos. But I would recommend just buying the app to get that out of there. If you don't like KineMaster's subscription based, you can try Cyber Director. An iMovie is the popular one that most people use just because it's free on the iPhone platform. And I use Power Director on an Android S7, and it worked out great. It had most of the features I wanted. There were some things I didn't like if you put in a photo and you try to zoom in. Obviously a photo is a much higher resolution, but it didn't render correctly. But it's a quick bit of advice, but I'd say buy the app. I think when people come to your channel and see an intro or see one of your videos and you have that watermark there, people may not take it as seriously and think that you're spending hundreds of dollars for a tent but can't spend a few bucks to get rid of that. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too critical, but I would recommend just buying it and getting rid of that watermark. Number 9 is use YouTube Studio. There's the regular YouTube app, and you can upload videos with that, but you can't modify a variety of properties of the upload. And you can get by with it, but with YouTube Studio, you can go in and change all the tags as well, and you can schedule it. If you are releasing daily videos, schedule them out. If you get into town, upload one, schedule it for that day or the next day, upload another, and then schedule it for the day after that, just so it staggers out. There have been a few times I've seen vloggers where they just release like 8 videos and then there's nothing for a few weeks and then 8 videos again, and it's hard to go through 8 right away, and during the time apart you kind of forget them. So it's nice to just schedule it out. So once a day, try to go for the same time. And I know there's gonna be trouble and you're gonna fall behind. I'm guilty of that as well, but try to schedule it out so it's staggered out, so you're in people's minds as you go. And everybody knows that the videos are delayed, but if you schedule it, if you make daily videos and release it once a day, people kind of have the feeling that it's real time and it's daily, and it makes that connection again to the viewers a lot better. I create a video every 3 or 4 days, so I try to release 2 a week. I may go further than that, maybe 3 a week in the future. And I consider doing 1 a day as well. It's a lot of editing though, but we'll see. But use that scheduling feature on YouTube Studio. If you don't have YouTube Studio installed, install it now and get used to it, so you know how everything works before you get on trail. And my last bit of advice is, before you get on trail, go on a day hike or whatnot and use the entire method that you are planning to use for the thru hike. Ideally be more than one, so you know how the audio works, how the audio sounds, how the video works and everything. But you want to do at least one video where you vlog with what you have, you organize it the way you plan to do it on trail, and then you edit it, include the music, and then use your phone to upload it with whatever app you want to use. And then you don't have to practice scheduling because it's pretty basic, but use YouTube Studio to just check out its features, modify the tags, things like that. That will help you avoid a lot of hurdles in the beginning. And I wish I knew this beforehand, but a lot of times I think people watch the first day's on trail video and determine whether they're going to watch the rest of it from there. So I've noticed a lot of other channels as well as mine. The first day's videos gets a pretty big peak, and then it may stagger down and gradually grow, but the first days gets a lot of videos or lots of views. And I think it's because people watch it and then they decide whether they're gonna keep watching it or not. And I wish I was a lot thinner in the first video on PCT, and I wish I did a better job. Maybe I could have retained more viewers to interest them throughout the rest of the through hike. I am not so sure, but that's the big thing, is try to get that first video done well. It'll help if you have other videos before that first video on trail, just because people will see that you're serious and they can kind of tell what's going on and see how you look. But definitely give yourself a big trial run of the way you will upload that video, edit and upload that video from the trail. Use your phone, and if you've been using your computer all this time, it'd be a big change. But if you use your phone before, I guess it won't be too big of a change. But test out your audio, make sure you can hear it without having to raise the volume up because you're too far away. Make sure your audio's wind resistance is not too bad, I guess. So just practice before your first actual video, on-trail video. Other than that, I may have other little bits of advice, but those are my biggest bits of advice to hopefully get you vlogging successfully, get you a lot of viewers, and keep people interested, as well as kind of improve the quality. I have tons of other little bits of advice as well, but those are the big ones. The big 10 that I wish I knew as well, although I did apply some, but I wish I practiced them. So good luck to all the thru hikers out there, not only the big 3, but all the other smaller ones. Have a ton of fun. Enjoy your vlogging. Remember, no drones in wilderness areas or national parks. And hope you all have a fun time out there. I'm excited to watch all the vloggers from 2020. I already subscribed to several of them that are really small. And secretly, I'm hoping that they get above that 1,000 subscriber threshold and 4,000 hours per over the last 12 months, so they can start monetizing before they get on trail, because then whatever little bit of money they earn will help them with meals. Some people earn quite a bit and they can get other things, but I think it's good because meals for me, eating was 50% of my budget. So having $20, $50 a month really helps with your 2 or 3 meals that you'll get. So you all have fun, okay? And hopefully this advice helps some of you. And I'll be going through and searching for more thru hiker videos later, and I will link them all, or I'll link some. I am not sure. I feel bad about linking some because then I forget some and I feel bad that I forgot them or didn't link them. But hopefully you all have a great time and the weather is great and you all have tons of fun vlogging. I know vlogging was tough. You waste a lot of time, or you use a lot of time that you normally couldn't socialize with. But when you vlog, there's a lot of interaction with people that are really knowledgeable in a lot of things, and you learn so much because they tell you this and this. And I think as you release the videos closer to real time, you get to learn that quicker instead of much further. So I really enjoyed vlogging, and I totally plan to vlog more thru hikes coming up. Not this year. But yeah, enjoy yourself. Have a great time and keep those batteries charged, okay? And if you have any questions, feel free to ask below, and take care.